Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. In a void within the Southern River Territory, a palace floats in the air, where the main battle avatars of 8 lords patiently await. In one area of the Grand Palace, Luo Feng and Jin are drinking together. The many ancestors of the two camps are gathering, Jin said while holding his wine cup. The gathering of the ancestors could hardly be hidden from the 8 lords. The forces of the two camps have allied against our cultivator camp. Luo Feng nodded as well. This is our greatest enemy. Once we defeat them, we can hope to permanently command all source worlds. To permanently command all source worlds, Jin murmured, I never thought that one day our cultivator camp could truly protect all the cultivators. Jin smiled at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, when I became a lord, there were only brother Yuan and me in the cultivator camp. Back then, we were much weaker, and the survival environment was very harsh. Over 90% of the territorial source world creatures were food. We did not dare oppose them. Brother Yuan tried every means to cultivate the younger generation. I also tried to select sufficiently outstanding successors. Jin looked at Luo Feng. Throughout the endless primordial space, all others are ancestors. Only brother Yuan and I are cultivated from source world creatures. Do you know that feeling? Luo Feng could understand. Even now, cultivator lords and ancestors feel different from each other. Only now, with 8 lords and enough strength, all parties must take caution. Brother Yuan clings to the Ice Peak camp, which I actually disdain, as an undying existence. I disdain flattering the Ice Peak camp, Jin said, but brother Yuan persistently flatters them, and dragged me with him to charge into battle for the Ice Peak camp. By leveraging the Ice Peak camp, the territories we command could be larger, and we can be less disturbed. But even so, Mo-Man still continuously devours the souls of source world creatures. The infinite Great Serpent clan still continuously devours. What can we do? With just brother Yuan and me, 2 lords only, how could we provoke the largest group of innate primordial life, the infinite Great Serpent clan? I want to tear them apart. But brother Yuan won't allow it. Once torn apart, subordinate territories would be completely destroyed in short time, and we have no way to enter the infinite world. Tearing apart, we suffer more losses. Jin said, endure, make friends. Brother Yuan has quite a lot of friends. Like the 12 immortal existences of the Ice Peak camp, in terms of influence, Ice Peak ancestor ranks first. While brother Yuan in terms of influence comes second. Someone who hasn't joined the Ice Peak camp, yet his influence follows right after Ice Peak ancestor, Jin sighed. My lousy temperament falls short. I don't have any friends in the Ice Peak camp. What I can do is try to cultivate successors. No matter the method, as long as it can produce a lord, it's the best method. Jin looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, although I don't agree with some of your ideas, yet, I admire you a lot. Because you changed the entire cultivator camp, and even gave us the opportunity to command all source worlds. Jin looked at Luo Feng. Not agreeing with Luo Feng, but he cherishes the law of the jungle. Luo Feng is the strongest. A great help in enhancing companion strength, the entire camp completely transformed with Luo Feng's breakthroughs. Because of the accumulation of U7 predecessors, there is now such transformation, Luo Feng said. The deterrence of the cultivator camp relies on the 8 lords. Just with oneself, it is far from enough. Ha ha, Jin raised his cup. Luo Feng also raised his cup. Although the two have differing ideologies, the ability to command all source worlds, from this point onwards, source world creatures no longer become food. It is the pursuit of every lord's goal. The large-scale devouring of source world creatures is a disgrace to every lord. Yuan and Starlight also sat together. Mo-Man is rapidly restoring his strength within the infinite world, Starlight said. I can clearly sense him becoming quickly powerful, yet he hides in the infinite world. I have no means. The infinite world gathers numerous ancestors, plus holds the advantage of the mysterious land. It's difficult to attack. When they come out, then it's good to wage war. For us to command all source worlds, Mo-Man surely can't endure, Yuan said calmly. He has long been our mortal enemy. Mo-Man is the strongest existence on the soul path, within the endless primordial space, Starlight seriously reminded. Once he has a group of ancestors proficient in souls to assist him, the threat will be terrifying. Souls are the foundation of life. Every lord knows this. Only soul path cultivation remains extremely difficult. As there is no great Tao to reference, the difficulty far surpasses other paths. No creature has reached the ultimate realm of God King on the soul path so far. Mo-Man has fought with us too long. He knows you quite well, Starlight said. You and Luo Feng are the two key points of our entire camp. Yet Mo-Man knows little about Luo Feng. Luo Feng has even occupied the 34th layer of the abyss of destruction. Mo-Man should not have confidence to deal with Luo Feng. According to my deductions, there is over 90% chance he will come at you. Yuan slightly smiled. Rest assured. He united with a group of ancestors proficient in souls, these soul-type techniques. The power is unpredictable, Starlight worried. Yuan gazed into the endless void, calmly saying, For this day, I have waited too long. No one can stop me. Starlight looked on. Yuan gazed at Starlight, grinning. Relax, trust me, they will smash here bloodily. Starlight slightly nodded. The 8 lords sensed the aura fluctuations of those ancestors, and they patiently awaited. Time passed. Throughout the entire endless primordial space, ancient existences awaited the imminent outbreak of this battle. The outcome of this battle shall determine the fate of countless source worlds. They are coming. Yuan, Jin, Wulan, Ming Huang, Nai Jiyu, Starlight, Mo-Man, Luo Feng, the 8 of them stood in the void, silently watching ahead. Rumble tilde 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 tilde. Ahead, the void naturally cracked open, as if the curtain of time and space had been drawn. A total of 82 terrifying figures simultaneously descended. Of these 82 figures, leading them were the Infinite Snake Ancestor, Ice Peak Ancestor, Shoju, Infinite Ancestor, Mogus, and other 14 undying and immortal beings, along with 68 other selected ancestors. It should be known. Now in the land of eternity, there are only 30 members in total. The two sides participating in this battle have as many as 22. Brother Yuan. Among them, the Ice Peak Ancestor said coldly, We've known each other long enough, never thought it would come to this. All of this is because you are too domineering. We, innate primordial life, devour the source world, that's our nature. Yet you forcibly seize all source worlds, which is an insult to all of our ancestors. Yuan looked at the Ice Peak Ancestor, then at Shoju beside him. Shoju, in grey clothes, stood there, his gaze devoid of any fluctuation. I can understand your need to consume the source world. Yuan nodded indifferently, but we are cultivators. As long as we have the ability, we naturally resist. We cultivators ask for little, just to survive and reproduce. We have already promised, as long as you don't consume the source world, we will never expand. Yet even so, you still refuse. Then, there can only be one battle. The two sides looked at each other. On one side, 82 ancestors, slightly fewer than the 89 ancestors sent by the innate primordial camp last time, yet the overall strength is more powerful. There are 9 more undying and immortal existences, and they have even invited some extremely strong ancestors from weaker forces at any cost. On the other side, there are 8 cultivator lords, the weakest of them can be ranked in the top 20 in power. Since there is no agreement, let's rely on strength. The infinite snake ancestor's gaze was ice cold. As soon as the words fell, the 82 ancestors had already started to attack. There are various protective life-saving arrays, among which the 3 emperors of Wind Thunder Sea are also members of the formation. Although their frontal combat strength is at the bottom among Undying and Immortal, their life-saving and protective capabilities are extremely strong. Apart from the Lord Mo-Man and a few others who can restrain them, most of the ancestors have no way to deal with them. Even Lord Mo-Man can only temporarily destroy their bodies. They are still eternally alive, able to reunite their bodies. Especially at this moment, the 3 of them are just a part of the formation, and with a large group of ancestors setting up the formation together. This formation's thickness is naturally terrifying. Rumble tilde 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 tilde. In the midst of sky-covering attacks, Mogus also led the Silent Extinction Ancestor, Thousand Eyes Ancestor, Star Luo Ancestor, Myriad Touch Dragon Mother, Nightmare Ancestor, Dream Weaver in launching a joint attack. On the Soul Path, Mogus is unparalleled, the remaining 6 are second only to it. The 7 have never joined forces over the long ages. This time, under the intimidation of the 8 lords, the 7 ancestors from 2 camps and weaker forces jointly attacked. Buzz. The soul technique, silent and unstoppable, has already enveloped Yuan. This move targets Yuan alone. Yuan, who was originally presiding over the battle array, had perfectly coordinated the power of the other 7 lords to counter enemy attacks. But upon being hit, Yuan stood there dazedly, completely abandoning control over the formation. What happened? Wulan was shocked. Not good. Luo Feng and the other 7 lords all felt a tremor in their hearts. The 7 of them are skilled in various Daos, but they know little about their companion's Dao. Wanting to perfectly coordinate the Dao of all lords, none of the other lords can do it. Without Yuan, the 7 lords became like scattered sand, only able to perform some simple coordination. The coordination of their strength immediately declined sharply. The power of the battle formation dropped to about 30% of its original. Rumble tilde 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 tilde, facing the overwhelming attacks, losing Yuan's leadership, Luo Feng and the 7 immediately felt immense pressure, with the entire battle array close to collapsing at any moment. This is bad. Wulan, standing at the forefront, tried his best to resist, but without the formation's coordination, too many techniques bypassed Wulan. Luo Feng's black robes fluttered. The red thread patterns on the robes tried to help. The power from Blood Crane territory and the power of destruction whirled intertwined, forming these robes, fully defending against external attacks. But some ancestors' techniques were too slippery to intercept. Read complete version only at novi.fi.net. Starlight, what do we do? Lord Mo-Man anxiously transmitted, his fluctuations spreading around, striving to weaken the enemy's attacks. But regardless of how wondrous his methods are, the combined might of the 82 ancestors is absolutely overpowering. Starlight, what do we do? Jin also anxiously transmitted. At this moment, Starlight was observing many future branches, searching for a solution. Boom. Luo Feng's main battle avatar ignited, performing a blade technique, yet this time his blade technique was fully defensive. Take Yuan and retreat with full force. Starlight immediately made a decision, we can't hold on. We must endure until Yuan regains consciousness, otherwise it can't be fought. Luo Feng can let his companions stay at the pinnacle, often performing forbidden techniques, plus Luo Feng's own power. Luo Feng can double the entire battle formation's power. But Yuan, his primordial rule operation path, can increase the battle formation's strength by 3-fold or even 4-fold. Without Yuan, the lords simply can't resist, having already fallen into a collapsing state upon first contact. Go. Luo Feng's main battle avatar burned, terrifying power enveloping all companions. Starlight, Mo Man, Ming Huang, Jin, Nai Jiu, Wulan, all 6 coordinated their strength with Luo Feng. At this moment, all the lords transformed into a blade, with Luo Feng's blood shadow knife as the edge, the blade slicing through the sky, cleaving all hindrances. Trying to escape. On the ancestors' side, there was void power, infinite world power, space-time control, endless ice-cold power, void ocean power, shadowy cloud cover, more than 20 ultimate level powers all excel at obstruction, all binding and hindering Luo Feng and them. Luo Feng's blood shadow knife can cut through all matter and energy. At this moment, with the assistance of 6 lords, it easily cleaves through various obstructing forces. The blade light flickered. It completely evaded the ancestors' side's interference. Huff. With the interference greatly reduced, Starlight's control over space-time substantially increased, causing the blade light to pierce through the time-space instantaneously, making the ancestors' side give up on pursuit. Can't catch up. The ancestors' side halted. That Luo Feng's knife is very special, said the Ice Mountain Master. Any force that tries to block it seems to split in 2 on its own. Can't block it at all, the Wugu ancestor agreed. Even if the obstructing force is 1 or 2 times stronger, it still can't stop that blade light. The mother of spacetime said, Yuan can perfectly integrate different forces, increasing the power of the battle array several times. Luo Feng is individually strong. If he wishes to leave, we can't stop him at all. Luo Feng is very strong. The initial ancestor also felt the overwhelming power of that blade. Escape or not, it doesn't make much difference. The infinite snake ancestor was in high spirits, his voice resounding around. The 8 lords are undying and undying, even if occasionally 1 or 2 main combat avatars are defeated, they quickly recover. Therefore whether they flee or not is not important. What's important is, Yuan has indeed been heavily damaged. The inference fire ancestor agreed, Yuan has lost its sense of the external world, completely incapable of resistance. That's why Luo Feng and they fled in such a sorry state, not daring to fight anymore. Being thoroughly immersed in it seems to have worked well. Mogus chuckled softly. Every ancestor present was relieved, yet increasingly wary of Mogus. Mogus, who mastered the highest level of soul power, managed to severely damage Yuan's mind with 6 companions aiding him. Then can the other ancestors withstand such a soul technique? If he spends some time, he should be able to recover, right? The Ice Mountain Master expressed concern, and Shoju also looked at Mogus. HMPH. Mogus confidently said, I initially thought he could maintain some clarity, and exert 1 or 2 tenths of his strength. But the actual effect is better than I anticipated. He completely lost external perception. According to my estimate, even if he regains clarity, he will always be affected. Always be affected. The Ice Mountain Master, Shoju, the infinite snake ancestor each had their thoughts. Even if he spends a long time, he can only barely suppress the effect, and it's good if he can exert 50% of his strength. Mogus appeared quite confident. Will an undying entity also be affected so deeply? The Wugu ancestor spoke. Undying and undying. Mogus scanned the surroundings with his eyes, stating indifferently, who determined that you are undying and undying? The ancestors present were slightly taken aback. Undying and undying. This is also a commonly accepted standard. For example, refining and controlling a mysterious land, because the life core merges with the origin of the mysterious land, as long as the mysterious land is not destroyed, oneself is undying. And throughout history, the mysterious land has never been destroyed. So controlling the mysterious land is considered undying and undying. The life core can completely merge with the highest level of force, and can be condensed and manifested in any avatar of itself spread across countless avatars. This is also considered undying and undying. Lords who mastered the primordial level Tao, as Tao is part of life, Tao is undying, and so is oneself, are also considered undying and undying. Undying and undying, it's all what you believe, Mogus sneered. If one day someone can destroy the mysterious land, then controlling the mysterious land wouldn't count as undying and undying. If one day there is a force that can instantly wipe out all the scattered thoughts and avatars of yours in the endless primordial space, the life core, no matter how it hides, won't escape. Even if it's a cultivator lord. If from a soul perspective, we erase their cognition and even create new memories for them, do you think they can be considered undying and undying? Mogus laughed heartily. The surrounding ancestors remained silent. Only me. Mogus exuded extreme confidence, mastering the highest level of soul power. No one can affect my soul. My power is disseminated among countless life forms below the ancestors, and even among countless life forms in the source world. No one can erase me. Mogus, don't scare us, the Ice Mountain Master said indifferently. Even from a remote distance, even if Luo Feng projects a strand of power, he still can't kill a world-level primordial. So annihilating all the ancestral avatars scattered in the endless primordial space is impossible. Destroy the mysterious land. It's already challenging to refine the mysterious land, let alone destroy it. No one has ever heard of that. Although these ancestors collaborated with Mogus, they did not like him internally. After all, besides devouring the souls of countless source world creatures, Mogus also consumes the souls of countless innate primordial lives. These ancestors have no choice but to tolerate him. HMPH, Mogus let out a cold laugh, not bothering to disguise himself. Apart from Starlight, none of the other ancestors could do anything to him. Why should he show any respect? He looked down on these ancestors, as even the so-called undying and undying had flaws in his eyes. Even if Yuan regains clarity, his strength will greatly diminish. The threat of the Eight Lords uniting is also greatly reduced. The infinite snake ancestor's voice reverberated, this battle, we've already won great victory. Let's head back first and hold a grand celebratory banquet. After the banquet, everyone can leave. The infinite snake ancestor was in high spirits. Everyone, do not leave prematurely to avoid being attacked individually by the Eight Lords, the inference fire ancestor also reminded. It will take a few days to travel, completely departing the southern river territory, and then dispersing will be much safer. Now disperse. The lords can catch up and defeat them one by one in just moments. Let's go. Ha ha ha. The ancestors chatted happily, in high spirits. The cultivator camp side lost. Some ancestors who didn't participate in the battle also watched from afar, like the giant god emperor, primordial beast ancestor, Pu Cheng ancestor, Xiao Sai Wei, demon ruins, Kafu, feather emperor, hermit, and so on. After all, the ancestors have greater numbers and countless cooperative methods. Now they use soul techniques against Yuan, and Yuan hasn't been able to withstand it. Mogus, extremely resentful towards the cultivator camp, probably prepared this technique for a long time. All parties watching sighed. If Yuan cannot recover to the pinnacle, the coordination of the Eight Lords would only be 60 or 70% of the peak, and the intimidation level would be much lower. Luo Feng and the 7 others, carrying Yuan, have fled far away. With Starlight's mastery of time and space, they can ensure the ancestor side cannot catch up. Yuan is completely trapped. The 7 lords look at Yuan at this moment. Yuan's expression is calm, as if he were asleep. Brother Yuan is completely trapped, entirely disconnected from the outside world, Wulan observes, we can't help at all. Brother Yuan, he can only rely on himself, Starlight says. Luo Feng watches silently too. Yuan, always the most trustworthy in the entire camp. Yet now, he's fallen into the trap. I believe in Brother Yuan. Jin gazes at the seemingly asleep Yuan. We are about to lead all source worlds. At this time, no one can stop Brother Yuan. The Seven Lords have no choice but to wait patiently. In Yuan's spiritual world, I am already a lord, long standing at the pinnacle of endless primordial space. Why should I constrain myself? One should act freely. These 7 lords, each indebted to me. I am the leader of the cultivator camp. As a leader, I should receive the most and the best. I've given too much, it's time for these lords to pay up. Ice Mountain, time after time deceiving me, I must pay it back. What it owes me, I want tenfold return. Ha ha ha, why bother with so much, throw everything aside. That's real freedom and leisure. The infinite great snake clan, I've endured them for too long, repeatedly devouring and slaughtering. I am undying and immortal, why endure? Sweep through, indulgent slaughter. Just like Starlight and Luo Feng slaughtering those world-level primordials, make them dare not devour source worlds. Discard all constraints, with enough ruthlessness and indifference, you have real intimidation power. Yuan, at this moment, has 7 consciousnesses. Besides his self-consciousness formed over long ages, there are 6 consciousnesses, shaped by the vast illusory realm he recently experienced. These 6 consciousnesses, all naturally formed following his true nature. There are those seeking great leisure. There are domineering ones. There are ruthless ones. There are absolute fairness seekers. During his cultivation years, due to various external environments repressing his nature, this time, each was guided to form subconsciousnesses. Each consciousness emerged naturally from his countless thoughts, being part of himself. The 7 consciousnesses naturally vie for control. These aren't my weaknesses. Yuan's main consciousness feels the 6 consciousnesses. The main consciousness, after endless trials across ages, remains the strongest and most stable. One alone can suppress 6 subconsciousnesses. But at the same time suppressing them weakens the mind consciousness used for external battle significantly. These, all things I have desired. My deepest desires, how could they be erased? Yuan looks at the 6 subconsciousnesses, smiling slightly. Mogus did well, managing to nurture new consciousnesses from my endless thoughts. Because they originated in me, I can't erase them. Perceiving these subconsciousnesses, Yuan knows, no matter how long, he can't erase them. Because many of them, he acknowledges. The operation of primordial rules, origin as core, can encompass all rules. Be bright, be dark, be benevolent, be greedy, be fierce, be carefree. These are all me. Yuan decisively acts. With the strongest main consciousness, he instantly and completely encompasses the 6 subconsciousnesses, guiding all with his mind consciousness system of primordial rule operation path, gradually merging various consciousnesses into one. Yuan's consciousness begins to merge, his awareness starts to change. Guard the origin. All else are outer forms. In the process of fusion among the main consciousness and the 6 consciousnesses, they influence each other. The operation of consciousness also resembles primordial rule operation, origin unchanged, outer forms ever-changing. Luo Feng and the others suddenly feel something, seeing Yuan open his eyes. Luo Feng and the others are somewhat surprised, they feel the change in Yuan's eyes. Yuan in the past, peaceful and reserved, friendly and social. But now, Yuan's gaze is full of curiosity, like a newborn baby, curiously looking at this world. Brother Yuan, Jin speaks, how are you? Latest content published on novelfire.net. Very well. Yuan grins, the smile somewhat exaggerated, unprecedentedly good. I really must thank Mogus, it helped me rediscover myself. This actually is the complete me, ha ha ha, interesting, interesting. I hadn't realized before, the world is much more fascinating than I knew. Different eyes see different sceneries. Yuan now sees more landscapes. Luo Feng and the Seven Lords look at each other, finding Yuan different from how they knew him. Brother Yuan, your strength? Lord Mo Man asks. Unaffected. Yuan confidently says, not the least affected. This was among the main reasons the original main consciousness chose to merge. Only merging all subconsciousnesses will remove interference. Only then can strength be entirely manifested. These clothes feel uncomfortable too. Yuan finds his robe's color too dull. With a thought, the robe turns colorful. He even throws off his shoes, revealing his toes, toe-pinching comfortably, finally feeling at ease. The Seven Lords all gaze at Yuan. Don't be obsessed with outer form. Yuan shakes his head, casually saying, let's hurry with the serious business. The ancestor side hasn't fled far yet. Let's hurry and eradicate them. Flee. Luo Feng and they are silent. Weren't they the lords fleeing just now? Mogus's soul technique is rather impressive. Yuan says, earlier Mogus, silent extinction ancestor, thousand eyes ancestor, star Luo ancestor, myriad touch dragon mother, nightmare ancestor, dream weaver, they joined forces against me. If we fight again, we must first eliminate the threat of this soul technique. Otherwise, the soul technique will target Luo Feng and target you. We indeed need to swiftly deal with this threat. Ming Huang looks at Yuan's bare toes. She can't bear changing like that. Let's use our predetermined long-distance lethal strike. First obliterate the relatively fragile nightmare ancestor, then thousand eyes, myriad touch, star Luo, in sequence, kill one, diminish their combined move's power. Yuan laughs, each one dying decreases the threat. The more die, the weaker the threat. Yuan, are you all right? Jin is somewhat worried about his old friend. Yuan looks at Jin, chuckling, never been better. Then let's depart. Starlight says. Luo Feng suppresses his concern for Yuan. The 8 lords together set off again, pursuing the ancestor side. The ancestor side vigorously traverses through time and space, returning, not dispersing. The 8 lords are coming. The ancestor side senses them. Yuan's strength has been restored. Infinite Snake Ancestor, Ice Peak Ancestor, they all glance at Mogus. Impossible. Mogus shakes his head, he can't restore. It's incredibly confident. It underestimated the current Yuan. Yuan's primordial rule operation path was adept at many paths, and his mind consciousness system was rather strong. Lai Yuan technique was casually created by Yuan. Since realizing the origin system, after true perfection of primordial rule operation path, Yuan's mind consciousness system has grown even stronger. To another strong figure, various disparate consciousnesses merging would only make a madman uncontrollable. It's self-destructive behavior. But Yuan, he stabilized the core of his mind consciousness. Guard the origin, everything else is outer form. This video will end here.